Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of Scion of the Dark House, a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Gothic horror podcast. Because this is Gothic horror, there may be some things that come up to a line for some people, such as blood, gore, violence, talk of abuse and trauma, child endangerment, body horror, and other such things. If such things come up to a line for you, please take a break. Your support means a lot to us, but so does your mental health. Where we last left the party, the group had gone and faced St. Peleus, nearly losing Jasmine in the fight, but they managed to make it to the end, finally stabbing St. Peleus through the heart with the lich-slaying arrow, the final one. However, before his death, St. Peleus declared, "I am not the last one," before exploding into dust. The group quickly returned to the lobby of St. Hypatia's hospital back in Darkmoor and rushed to find medical care, specifically for Jasmine, who was still incredibly hurt after that fight. Percy's mother came to check on them, as well as Belladonna herself, making an appearance from the void. She was genuinely shocked to hear that there was a final chain, and in frustration, left for the void once again to find any research that may support this, and where the final chain might be. The group then decided to leave and go off to the Downed Falcon to drink, specifically Arthur, who badly needed some alcohol. Percy, however, sulking, was left behind at the hospital, and we're actually going to start with you, Percy. So the group has left to go to the Down Falcon. You're aware they're going to the Down Falcon, but you wanted to take some time to kind of process everything that's happened thus far. What are you doing and where are you going?
Mm, let's see. I think Percy's still pretty torn up about various things. So he might go back to the cathedral just to walk around and ponder the recent events in a familiar place.
Mhm. So yeah, are you going to like sit in the sanctuary, or are you just going to walk around the grounds or the
Yeah, I guess I'd
gardens?
probably sit in one of the pews.
Okay. So as you sit and you kind of take a deep breath and watch the people kind of mill around, people come, light candles for various saints, and leave. Um, there is also Archbishop Sherman, I think that's what I called him, there, kind of just speaking with people who have come in. It's not a mass day, so there isn't a lot of service going on. Um, However, after several minutes of sitting there alone in the pew, no one coming up, you hear the sort of creak of the bench, the pew next to you, and you smell a familiar smell. It's the smell of hospitals, cleaning fluids, antiseptics.
I look over. What do I see?
You actually see a very familiar face, the face of Saint Hypatia, as she kind of finishes sort of smoothing her sort of nurse's outfit that she is typically shown in, and just, "So how are you doing? How are you feeling? I wanted to check in after everything that happened."
Yeah, I guess Percy looks very surprised, but then probably just realizes it's probably a bit harder to kill a god than than that. Um, he says, to be honest, not great. Uh, I guess I'm glad to see you're okay, but also I don't really know how to deal with what happened.
I don't blame you. It
Was it
was
just that you needed a betrayal? There's nothing beyond that?
Yes, it was a betrayal that caused the blood of a saint to be spilled. Of course, I couldn't tell you that, then it wouldn't really be a betrayal then.
Right.
It was the price that we had to pay to get you in and to deal with St. Peleus.
It makes logical sense. I can't
That
say that I, well, I think even knowing that it was with good intent, my faith is somewhat shaken.
and I don't blame you. Honestly, it's a price that I'm willing to pay. We typically are not allowed to do such things, but rules need to be bent in this time. Frankly, it was more important to the world, to the safety of your family and your sister to do this. It was the price I was willing to pay. I understand things are going to be different now. They always were going to be. And if you feel it's time for you to move on, then it's time to move on. I don't blame you. I just want to know that you and your family are safe and my flock are safe. And if that means you have to leave, then it means you have to leave. I'm not
Well,
going to blame you.
I don't know what my next steps are.
And that's okay. Frankly, I don't always know what my next steps are going to be, as strange as that may seem to say. But we aren't truly gods. We were mortal once. We ascended. We were chosen. We still have those tendencies. We still don't know what's coming next.
I don't know whether that's upsetting or reassuring.
I think a little bit of column A, a little of column B.
Well, even if it's made things difficult between us, I respect the decision you made. And I don't know if I would have been strong enough to make it myself.
To be honest, I figured that. That's why I did what I had to do.
Well, it's good to see you here, at least. It's been centuries since the saint has graced these halls.
Does feel that way. I mean, maybe you haven't seen them, but they're around.
That's probably true. No one else here seems to really recognize you, so
Well, that's a
maybe.
little perk of the job. I don't have to be recognized if I don't want to be.
Right. So maybe I have seen one of you running around here before and I just don't know it.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be the first time.
Do you know anything about what we should do next? There's a fourth chain, apparently, and none of us
That
have any idea
is
who it is.
that is a terrifying thought. I was under the impression there was only three.
Well, so were we, and now, well, we can't really try to. I was sort of hoping that this was the final stretch after this, that we'd be running towards the house and trying to undo whatever is being done there, but apparently there's still one more obstacle.
True. Seems Tharizdun was very well prepared for what is to come. But simply because I'm not the person who knows doesn't mean there aren't other people. You have ways of reaching out, I'm sure. There are other beings out there that may know.
Well, I guess now is not the time for moping.
I would say not. Um, but of course, and she kind of puts her hand on your shoulder, just make sure you give yourself enough time to process this. I want what's best for you. And ultimately, I may not know what is best for you. You are you, and I am not. So give yourself a little time and space to do that. All right?
I'll try. It doesn't seem like we have much time right now, but assuming I
Well,
survive all this, I'll be in touch.
I know you will. And she gets up and she walks out of your periphery. And as you kind of almost look to follow her, she's gone. Of course, you know the rest of the party is at the Downed Falcon and is probably going to be at the Downed Falcon for quite some time. So if
Yeah.
you'd like to rejoin them, you certainly may.
Percy decides he's had his little pity party. Let's get drunk and then try to solve a problem.
All right. So, yep, you rejoin everybody at the Downed Falcon and you have a good time, as close as the end of the world seems to be, and nobody knows. You certainly have a pretty good time. The proprietresses of the Downed Falcon are definitely filling up your cups with ale, mead, water, milk, whatever it is that you want, along with a nice hearty meal. And you all head home, possibly a little inebriated, some not. And you notice as you walk home down Main Street, you notice the Copper Cauldron, it's still under construction. It's gotten a significant amount farther. There is actually a facade up now. Um, there's still boards where the windows should be. There's still cloth over that. There's still barriers and scaffolding and other things around it. But you notice there is a small sign that simply says sidewalk sale tomorrow, raising funds for continued construction. Hope to be back in business truly soon. The Copper Cauldron.
Are we going shopping tomorrow?
Uh, Possibly. We should at least say hello after all that's happened here. Glad to see the reopening.
Sounds good.
So, bedtime, I guess.
Yep.
Wait, this sign, we saw this in the middle of the night.
What was put out earlier and just left out. I wouldn't say this is the middle of the night. I would probably say this is like late evening after the Copper Cauldron would have closed because it's not open 24/7. It's probably open like 8 to 5 or something like that. And it's like maybe 8:30 as you're walking home. So this sign has just been sitting out on the sidewalk for a while, but it's there and it's clear people are probably going to go shop here.
Okay,
All right.
bedtime.
Yeah. So you head home back to Percy's parents' house and bed down for the evening. As you all take a long rest. Lark, you get a visitation in your dreams. You are in a familiar sort of forest, somewhere between the forest from the realm that you were bequeathed in a strange roundabout way and the Garden of Regrets. And appearing from behind a tree in shadow and floating into the light is Rumor.
Oh, oh, rumor. What are you? What's going on? What are you doing here? What am I doing here?
Well, I mean, dream walking, my specialty. Um, I just wanted to check in real quick. Um, so news of our realm. Um, we have some interested parties in allyship. Um, we actually ended up having a small group of werewolves who wanted to set up a village in our forest in exchange for kind of being bounty hunters for people who might make deals with us and then try and skip out on paying them or other things like that. You know, that kind of thing. It's the Moonfang clan, and their sort of pack leader is Kane Moonfang. He came to us and asked about that. Um, I said that I would check with you, of course, because we are we're a team. Prank definitely seems down. Um, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't know, but I wanted to check with you and see how you felt about that. Um,
So they want to set up a village in our forest and be guard dogs and bounty hunters of sorts.
yes, that's what it sounds like. Um, I remember I did a little asking around, and Kane Moonfang is known for hunting down specifically mortals, but sometimes lesser fae, who kind of try and back out on deals that they've made. He is mainly like a mercenary for hire, but it seems that he and his family or his clan wants to settle down and decided that maybe our forest was the best place to do it. And so offered services, of course, in exchange for a small village.
Um, I mean, you're the best at picking up news of the world. Why haven't they found a home yet? Why are they still searching for somewhere to settle? What's the story
Oh,
there?
they're nomadic by nature, but they decided that maybe they didn't want to be anymore. That's the extent of the story. It was mostly because the Fae were hiring them left and right, and wanting to hunt down people who didn't, you know, pay up. And they decided that they were tired of it, having to go back and forth from realm to realm, and decided they wanted a nice place to settle down, and decided that their services, they didn't want to give up their careers, but they wanted a more stable employment.
And is there any intention of them trying to usurp our positions?
No, they haven't tried to do that with any of the previous Fae they worked with. They just want a place to stay. They seem to be very tied to their jobs. Werewolves can be very loyal to their clans and to their, the lands that they live on and things of that nature. So I think that if they do decide to live here, they will respect our authority. Um,
I mean, we are the ones who kept the place from falling apart into oblivion.
Very true.
I mean, I suppose we should start accumulating some subjects of sorts other than how is the how's the portal to the Shadowfell doing?
Um, Still disgorging undead. Of course, we've been trying to steer panic more in a direction to cull some of them should the population get a bit too large. But you know, we've maybe we should look for like a necromancer or something to kind of wrangle them. Um,
Oh, just a matter of time, dear sibling.
I'm
Just a matter
sure.
of time. And
Um,
we have more than enough of it. If you're asking for my vote, I always do like having more people under me than above. So
Very
as long
true.
as they're willing to abide by our rules and our whims, then let them found their little village. Besides, getting a reputation for having a pack of pet werewolves could be quite entertaining.
Yes, we also have a Theodora. She is a daughter of Nimue, one of the lake fairies, one of the most powerful lake fairies. I think she lent a sword to a king or something. Anyway, regardless, she has a little interesting conundrum. She wants to make a deal with us, not necessarily to be subservient to us, but simply to ally our realms. She had a little magical accident, and so her realm is actually split in half, and the river is kind of unspooling, making it very hard to put the realm back together. So she has extra river that can't really go anywhere. It's a very bizarre predicament. She's trying to solve it, and the river keeps getting longer and longer and pushing the two halves of her realm farther and farther apart. So she was wondering, in exchange for border protection, she would lend some of her military to us to help defend our border. And in exchange, we would have the river run through our realm, to keep it from growing, to have it anchored to a realm to keep it from growing, until she figures out how to put her realm back together. And then she will either slice off that section of the river and allow us to keep it, or bequeath us a lake, whichever. And seeing as how the river is filled with mermaids and water pixies and Nereids and water weirds and other things, she will allow them to choose which realm they want to live in once that happens, and we will then reevaluate our treaty.
Um, has Prank reviewed the treaty yet?
Not yet. I've told her about it, but sometimes she's off busy doing things with the Wild Hunt. But that seems to be the gist of the treaty so far. Border protection in exchange for anchoring the river until she can figure out how to put her realm back together.
I mean, as long as it doesn't flood our realm with a giant river.
No, it won't. The problem is that because it's between realms and that sort of mist, it doesn't have anything anchoring it, and so it's going to continue growing and growing. If she puts the two halves of her realm on either side of our realm and runs the river through it, it'll stop growing. And that's the plan, so that it stops growing, and she has a more manageable situation to put her realm back together.
I suppose that wouldn't be horrible, but I'm not the only deciding factor there.
Right. I just wanted your opinions on the matter so we could,
I mean, if we can get it a little more advantageous to us, I see no issue with it. Just run it by Prank first. Though I don't suppose Panic's vote will count much. I don't think the deer would understand what's going on at all.
No, I don't think so.
Oh well. We should educate her a little better. But I would say yes. Let's anchor it, though maybe try to get a little bit more out of it than she's willing to give. But that's just my inclination. We all know the way I operate. Too long in the Steely Court, some might say.
And in even better news, the Night Sisters. I believe you met them when you went to the ball of the Waltz of Shadows. Mother Gothel, Karabos, Lucina Leckermal. They have formally recognized the sovereignty of our realm and the legitimacy of our rulership, which is, of course, a very advantageous thing to have, seeing as how the three of the most powerful hags under the Witch Queen and Baba Yaga declaring our realm to be legitimate would definitely deter attackers that might try and take over our realm. Or at least
true.
The smart ones, I should say.
Oh yes. It's not going to be long before some nincompoop tries wandering in and bringing the sunlight or whatever that... Oh, do me a favor. If a rooster shows up, just trick him to go into someone else's realm. He's very annoying.
Oh, Chanticleer, yeah.
Yes, he's
I've
the only good thing that oversized bird brought to me is the favor of the Night Sisters. So
true. So speaking of, we should also maybe name our realm. I don't think we ever named it. It was called the Emerald Forest when it was under Samantha's control, but it's not so emerald anymore.
hmm.
Um,
Oh, is this what it's growing into?
well, I mean, with as many people who now know about our realm and with so many powerful people recognizing us, we should probably have at least somewhat of a snappy name for our realm.
Very, very, very true. Very true, darling. It makes me wonder what will we do with our I mean, we have safety, we have power, we have everything that I wanted for us when we were just sweet little bloomlings fresh out of the flower. Yet I want
Yes.
more. Such is the nature of life, I suppose. Do you have any ideas, sibling?
Um, no. I
There,
maybe.
well, there was one comes to my mind. It's perhaps a little facetious. Well, not facetious, but a little. Who knows what our domain could become, which is fantastic and fun. And I don't. Let me think. Lark's just like pensively floating there as he kind of considers what exactly. I mean, the different domains all have, and Archfey tend to have different, like, I'm the Prince of Flowers, I'm the Partridge in the Pear Tree. We do this, we do that. And the thing that's making their particular domain unique at this point, other than like siphoning it off of some crazy girl who stole a bunch of power from a bunch of other lesser Archfey, is that they're um hmm, the Shadowfell portal, the undead presence, the
Yes.
negative energy slow seeping into, but also being consumed slowly by the Feywild, which is kind of cool. Uh, so something wood, something wailing woods, whispering woods, wishing woods. We could. Lark just has a dark chuckle. We could start granting wishes to people who are dumb enough to come to us, always with a catch.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less. Um,
You know, darling, when I was in the Shadowfell, there was this fabulous carnival that was getting damned souls to sell themselves to demons and devils to avoid the nine hells and turn themselves into lesser devils. Why don't we do that? We have a portal to the Shadowfell. We just need to throw a little seeds on that side and start luring mortal souls from the Shadowfell to the Feywild. Turn them
I
into
guess we
sprites,
could.
quicklings, minor Fey, all for a deal, of course.
Right.
And I mean, a soul in transition, that's got some power and some ring to it. Just a thought.
All right. Well, I'll definitely take those suggestions to Prank and we'll reconvene at some point to decide on the name. Um, but that's all I have. It's kind of been not boring, but certainly not that eventful. It's been pretty calm.
Which, trust me, darling, that's a good thing compared to how we had to acquire our domain in the first place.
Very true.
A lot of moving and shaking to get that to happen. But
Yes.
no regrets.
Right.
Mm.
Well, we will reconvene at some point once these sort of decisions have gone through. How have you been on your end?
Well, I don't suppose any of the queens or anyone has informed you of you're at least aware of like the impending doom of the mortal plane, right? We've gone over that
Oh,
multiple times.
yes. Yeah.
We we do need to find. Apparently, there's a fourth chain of Tharizdun.
Oh.
Yes. I don't suppose, I mean, it's perhaps using your old position to our advantage a little too much, but you wouldn't happen to know. You worked for the Master of Secrets? Keeper? Is it Master or Keeper? I can't remember.
Keeper of secrets.
Keeper of
Yes.
Secrets. You wouldn't happen to have known about a fourth chain of Tharizdun, or your former master did?
I mean, I can head over to the Tower of Ravens and find out pretty
Oh,
easily.
you'd be a darling if you could.
I will put that on my to-do list and get that done as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Yes, we trying to preserve the mortal plane of existence, though admittedly, just putting it out there, we could also always do the Samantha failsafe. She had a point. The mortal plane falls, and all those souls go to the Shadowfell, and all that transient pain leaks in. That'll juice up our domain for long enough for us to skedaddle far out of the fire.
True.
I don't want that to happen because it wouldn't be fun.
Right.
But it's the fail safe. But I digress. I'd rather keep our livestock as comfortable as we can.
Yeah, that seems like a better plan. All right. Well, I will get around to doing that, and hopefully we will reconvene at some point. I'll be in touch.
Yes, yes, darling. Thank you. And if you find out anything, let me know as quick as you can. And do think about the woods of whimsy, the wishing woods, something that is true yet maybe a little not fully revealing itself, so that the ill-informed would casually wander into, well, hopefully not the werewolf village, but to seek our favor.
Right.
Besides, too many of the Sealy Court Fae are out there collecting wish stones and all of those, and they only help the quote unquote good people. Where's the help for the ambitious, or for the broken, or the depressed, you know? Agony.
Right.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Of
All right, I'll
course.
talk to you later, darling.
Right. Goodbye. And he
Goodbye.
fades into the shadows once again. And you wake up. All of you have had a nice, lovely long rest. The gray light of a Gothian morning somewhat meanders its way through the windows. And the morning is yours. What would you all like to do?
Breakfast. Also after the level up, I acquired a third portent, so I have 3 portents.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Just saying.
So that's good.
Yeah. It looks like my internet's good. It was like not working at all earlier.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, breakfast, please.
Yeah, I'll go down for breakfast with the boys.
Right.
Yeah.
And while we're
Yep.
down there, Lark will just be like, well, I put out another feeler for us. Rumor stopped by. They're rather talented at dream walking, and they're going to go back to their old, the keep of their old boss, the Tower of Ravens. It was the Keeper of Secrets is who they worked for the longest. See if they can drum up any information about a fourth chain for us.
All right. I mean, unless any of our contacts get back to us, maybe today we just check out the Copper Cauldron, maybe head to the Midnight Academy of Midnight Arts and see if any of those wizardy smart people have any idea what we could do.
You know who might have an idea
Who's that?
is my uncle. My uncle.
That's true.
Because I don't know, He can most likely divine things, do some divination better than I do.
I mean, you still have those spells. I think you have commune and contact other plane. You could use those. I'm not going to say you can't, but
Okay. What's that?
just saying those are options. You do, of course, have rumor and Belladonna also out searching for answers.
Well, I would like to cover as much as we can. So I'll probably do. I didn't know I have commune.
Yes, you have commune through your oracle gift. You can cast it once a day as a ritual. But then you have to finish a long rest before you can do it again. I think because commune is technically a cleric spell, but because you're getting it through the gift, you can only cast as a ritual once.
Right. Okay.
I'm just going to quickly look at it. You probably are going to go shopping first. Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I know how to spell works. So,
Shall we go shopping first and then I can try contacting?
Shopping trip.
woo.
Oh, I have werewolves now. Isn't that fascinating?
Yes.
Like here?
In the Feywild, darling. A clan of werewolves has settled in our forest as our peasants. I don't know what the proper term would be in this scenario.
Well, I'm happy for you, I guess, if this is a good thing.
I mean, I suppose it'll hopefully pan out. They've offered to hunt down anyone who wrongs us, so.
Whoa.
Fun. So should we go shopping now?
Yes. Yes, please.
Shopping trip.
All right. So you head back out onto the main street. It's probably about, I'm going to say it's probably around 9 in the morning. You head to the Copper Cauldron, and indeed there is a line of people. And it is a true sidewalk sale. There are tables that have been set up with all kinds of knickknacks all over the place. It looks like a lot of it is like wands, maybe a few books. A lot of it seems like stuff that is slightly enchanted, pocket watches that don't need to be wound up, gemstones that are extra sparkly, books that turn the pages by themselves, little music boxes that play more than one tune, little trinkets like that are all priced at like 10 gold, 20 gold, 30 gold, things like that. But as you're kind of meandering through these tables that are on the sidewalk, stretching almost in front of other businesses, and a little bit out into the street, you do see a very familiar golden Dragonborn, Goran Galax, kind of taking some payments along with other sort of helpers that you recognize from the shop. And he kind of recognizes you. Oh, hello. It's been a while since I've seen you around. How have you all been?
We've been better, you know. World might be ending, but hopefully we don't. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Got to see you're opening up shop again.
Well, this is kind of more of a little fundraising thing. We had a few items that we'd, you know, done some experiments on, and had been sitting unsold for quite some time in our storage area, either because we thought they were unsellable or because they, weren't really magical enough to be sold or things like that. And you decided if we're really going to get the shop back up and running, it might be time to just simply sell them all. So we just did a little street fair, attracted a bunch of people who might want, little enchanted knickknacks. However, the back of the shop is still intact. And it kind of moves a barricade after you.
Oh, all right. What you got back here?
Well, I remembered that I was working on a few things for you before my shop got unfortunately exploded. So I wanted to make sure that there was still some stuff left for our, more wealthier customers. Especially things that I was working on for other people. I still have a few projects going. And so he kind of walks you back through the shop. It is definitely been cleaned up quite a lot. Newer flooring has been installed. The counter looks like it's been knocked down and kind of is about to be replaced. There's definitely some plans lying around of like new shop configurations and things of that nature. But he takes you back into the actual almost lab of the shop where there's quite a few magic items. I did pick up a few things that I thought you all might want and put them in reserve. So some of these, I think I know what they do, but they've been in storage for quite a while. Like this one, and he picks up a shield. It's a round shield. It has a sort of Greek key pattern, and in the center of the shield is a three-dimensional Gorgon's head made of gold, with its eyes open, its mouth open, fangs, a tongue poking out, the snakes all around. It's definitely magical. I just can't quite remember what it does. But I haven't sold it, and I have no use for it. I don't exactly go into battle, so I'd be willing to part with it, of course. So that, of course, is on the table. I understand that you all see combat quite frequently. And he sets it down on the floor. There's these, which might be of interest to at least one of you. And he opens up this small box, and it has 8. Nope, sorry, 7, miscounted. 7 tiny gemstones in it. There is a diamond that kind of has this like elongated football shape. It's about that long and that wide. There is an amber that's carved to look like a square. It has kind of a square cut. These are all pristinely cut gems, like the kinds that you would see set into rings with many facets on them, multifaceted. They're just absolutely gorgeous. There's a ruby that is a longer sort of rectangle. There's an amethyst that has this sort of traditional diamond cut with the point and the facets around on the top. There is a sapphire that is carved to look like a sort of into a teardrop sort of shape. There is it looks like it should be a diamond, but it has this slight baby blue tint to it. It's still transparent. Looks like a blue diamond carved to be shaped like a heart. And there is an octagonal emerald. This box, they're quite interesting. I received them from a quite a wealthy family of sorcerers, due to them using quite a bit of magic while wearing various pieces of jewelry. All of these gemstones have a quality that would allow you to, when holding them, use a sort of form of meta magic to push and pull spells. However, they are only single use, which is unfortunate, which is why we haven't touched them. I'm not quite sure which each one of them does, but they seem to correspond to a different form of transmuting a spell into something else. Might be something worth investing in. He closes the box. So I was trying to make a sort of crystal ball out of that Umber Hulk eye to kind of lacquer it and turn it into an orb that would confuse and bedazzle or bedevil easier, more repeatedly than just the confusion powder. However, I could not get it to work. The eyes eventually collapsed under the lacquer. I couldn't get them to keep their shape. However, I did manage to draw their essence into, and he pulls out a small amber figurine shaped like an Umber Hulk. This. I'm sure you've seen figurines of wondrous power. This one, I believe, is a bit unstable. It has a few cracks in it, but it should still work if you all are interested in a figurine of wondrous power. I had quite a bit more success with, and he pulls up, it is a staff made out of the beholder eye stalk. He has wrapped it in metal, bolstered it with wood. It looks like an actual staff, except at the top is a beholder eye that's been preserved. This one, I know exactly what it does. You can use one of the beholder's eye rays. However, it is very limited use. I've only managed to ever get 3 of the rays out before it stopped working for a period of time. So that is an option. It does require attunement, but it is quite a powerful item. There's quite a few interesting eye rays on a beholder. And then I just have some things that I figured you all might be a little bit interested. I have this, and he picks up, it's a sword. It's just like a beautiful rapier. It almost looks like a prop rapier, like someone might use in an opera or a play. I did end up getting this from the Candlelight Theater. It was when they were still doing other operas, so quite a long time ago. They retired this one. I forget what play it was from, but the main sort of actor who was the hero of the story, the actor that played him was quite rich and donated quite a bit to the theater, and didn't want to lose his position as the principal character, but he was getting older and his voice was changing quite a bit, and he probably shouldn't have been playing the role, but they crafted this sword for him that would sing the opera for him. It's kind of got a life of its own now. It still sings opera. It can sing all 12 of the songs that he would have to sing. But it also, and he kind of tosses it up in the air, and it almost hangs in the air before dropping. It's taken on the quality of a dancing sword, if you've heard of those. It just sings opera too. Anyway, it's been in the storage for quite a long time. And then, of course, another figurine of wondrous power. It's the only other one that we have at the moment, but I figured maybe you all would want it. And he picks up a small figurine shaped like a fly. It's just an ebony fly, but I figured you might want it. Who knows? So those are the items that I'm willing to part with for you, especially because you contributed to at least 2 of them. I can't give you as much of a discount just simply because of the state of the shop. But I can still give you a bit of a discount.
What
Are there
kind
any
of
that you...
prices are we looking at for these?
Well, for the box of gemstones, that will run you about 550 gold. I won't say that it's too bad of an investment. Once these are used, they don't vanish. The magic simply leaves them. Each of the gemstones are about 50 gold pieces each. So you'll still have, each gem is worth 50 gold pieces, once the magic has left it, of course. The Umber Hulk, I can't charge less than 1,500 gold pieces, but it is reusable. The Beholder Eye staff will run you about 1,000 gold pieces. just with such limited use. Seems about a good price for it. Of course, because it's a prop and is made out of silver, the dancing sword is going to cost you about 300 gold pieces. Also, because you didn't contribute to its creation, I can't charge less than 3,000 gold pieces. This shield, something is magical about the head at the front. I haven't had the time to identify it, but it's clearly magical. Seeing as how it's made of quite a bit of gold plating, I can't charge less than 2,000, and the ebony fly is 1,000.
How much was the shield?
The shield was 2,000 gold pieces.
Honestly,
but you don't know what it does.
Can I touch it?
Sure, you can touch it. Yeah,
Right,
of course
then.
you can hold it.
Can I identify this?
Sure. It is a Gorgon shield. It is a +2 shield. As an action, you can cause the Gorgon's head to come off and fly around. It uses the stat block of a petrifying death's head. However, it is considered a construct. If it drops to 0 hit points, it will reform on the shield the next morning. Additionally, you have advantage on saving throws against effects that would petrify you while you are using it. And it requires attunement.
Cool. Honestly, the staff is too expensive for me. If anybody wants this shield, I can give them some of my gold.
I don't have that much gold either. So Lark's gonna do something real quick. He's just gonna be like, darling, after everything we've done for your shop and everything we're doing for this world, I really, really think that you should offer us these treasures at an extremely discounted price. And I'm gonna subtle spell suggestion that to him.
All
Nice.
right.
I want him to like offer like we're trying to rip him off completely, and I'm gonna try
I
to
figured.
magically bamboozle him for it. So
All right.
I want to phrase it in such a way that like less than a tenth of those prices you quoted us.
I mean, if he is trying to sell everything that he has from the back of the store.
Yeah, so he rolled a 3. So that's definitely, no matter what bonus he has, he's definitely not beating that. Not even expecting to be magically bamboozled and enchanted. He goes, you know what? You're right. Let's say if you were going to buy all of these, I'll take half price for the dancing sword and the ebony fly, and I will throw in the gemstones, the umber hulk, the eye staff, for free, and I'll be willing to take 200 gold for the shield.
Whoa. You know what? I still have like 800 gold.
I've got like 400.
Yeah, I've got 800.
I don't take up gold. Is that enough?
Actually, I have 895 gold.
How much? Oh, let's see how much Arthur has on his sheet. So how much do we have to get get all these then?
So he said half 200 for the Gorgon shield, and then half for the dancing sword, so that's 1,500, and half for the ebony fly, so that's 500.
And then everything else is free.
And then everything else is free. If you buy those 3 items, everything else is free.
Let's spend all our money.
So we need 2,200 gold to combined, right?
Yes, it seems.
Percy has 860.
Mark has
I have 895.
I'm gonna pull up a calculator.
I love how just spending all of
860
this.
plus 895. How much do you have, Lark?
only like 400. I don't carry money on me that often.
Plus 400. So
That's
we're at
6.
2,155.
Oh, Arthur has 307 gold. So
Are
Let's
you
just
using
spend all of the gold.
What else are we gonna do with it?
Yeah, they've all been sitting there since we got them. All I bought with these gold were potions.
I bought potions, my Pearl of Power. I think that's the only things I've bought. Potions and a Pearl of Power.
Yeah, you guys have mostly looted them or been given them. It's
Yeah.
very rare that you all actually buy something with your gold. So I'm assuming you all have enough to...
Yeah, we have what, like 2,500?
We have 2,500 between the parts.
And it was
Yeah.
2,200 for everything?
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like you have 300 gold left or so. And yeah, you get all of the things.
Yay.
Huzzah! You're all welcome.
Thank you, Lark.
So I will say, if you are going to, because I'm sure you're going to identify all of these items, you already know what all of them do. But I will tell you that of the box of little crystals, each one of them does literally do a single meta magic. You can hold the crystal, you hold the gemstone. When you cast a spell, you can add the meta magic to it. If you do it in that way, no matter what the meta magic says, you can't combine it with other meta magic. It has to come from the stone only. So the football-shaped diamond is distant spell. The amber...
Hold on.
Okay. Just so that you can look them up later and you can divvy them up and figure out who wants what meta magic.
What was the final distance?
Distant spell is the diamond.
Mm-hmm. The amber is empowered spell.
Okay.
The ruby is heightened spell. The amethyst is quickened spell.
Mm-hmm.
The sapphire is subtle spell.
Okay.
The heart blue diamond is seeking spell.
Okay.
And the emerald, the octagonal emerald, is transmuted spell.
Okay. Are these like one-time use?
They are literally one-time use. You use them and they turn into a non-magical 50 gold gemstone.
Okay.
But you get to add a single meta magic to a spell you cast simply by holding it. You don't need to have sorcery to do it.
Yeah. So I probably shouldn't carry any of those because I don't need those to do meta magic. Some of them are meta magics I can't do, but
yeah. Because I think you have quickened and subtle.
I've got...
I know you've got quickened and got subtle. I know at level 10, I think you got a new...
Yeah.
A new meta magic option.
I have quicken, so just let me double check here. Meta magic, subtle, quickened, twinned, extended, and heightened between
Twinned,
my
extended,
sorcerer
and
levels and my feat. Because I took the meta magic adept feat, it gave me an extra
Right.
2 meta magic options.
Yes, so you probably shouldn't carry those because you can do them.
Yeah.
So it looks like distant, seeking, and transmuted are ones that if you wanted to, you could carry them. The rest it seems like you have, but if you don't want them, then the other 3 can divvy them up amongst themselves.
Yeah. I mean, the nice part about those is it gives non-sorcerer spells the opportunity to have meta magic applied to them that normally can't.
Yes.
So, especially for Percy, who can switch out his spells every day, there's some spicy options when you can suddenly quicken a spell into a bonus action that would normally take 8 hours to cast.
And there's shit out
I
of
think it
temple onto
requires...
somebody.
I think you can only do that with spells that have an action.
Oh.
There's another one that halves the amount of time it takes to cast longer spells, but I think it has to be a spell that requires an action, and that gets switched over to a bonus action. The rest of them, you have to pick another.
When you cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how meta magic works.
So it changes the spell. Like distance spell doubles the spell's distance. So like if Percy wanted to cast Guiding Bolt has a 120-foot range.
So like
he could just go nope. He could just pick up the distance gemstone and just go, no, I want farther, and make it go 240 feet. But then he'd have a 50 gold diamond in his hand at the end of that.
Context. I was like, context. I was kind of understanding it the way you guys were talking about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Can
so
I
basically...
Can I have Amber? The Amber?
The empowered spell? I mean, if no one else is contesting it, then yes.
Can I take that?
Sure.
And also distance.
That would probably be good for you.
Because, like, if I'm gonna make something explode, might as well make it explode twice as big.
Well, and empowered doesn't make it explode bigger; it makes it explode harder. So I think you get to re-roll 3 of the dice.
So more damage.
Yeah, you get to re-roll 3 of the dice, but that replaces the damage. So you pick like the 3 lowest ones and roll them again, and you get more damage off of it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, so it explodes harder, not bigger.
Cool. And I can
just drop that on a 9th level fireball and see what happens.
As long as nobody else minds me taking these.
Anybody else want to claim any of the other ones?
Is there a subtle spell?
Yes, there is subtle spell.
Take a subtle spell.
There's also transmuted spell, which is fun, which might help.
Sure, yeah, I don't have a wide variety of damage types, so I guess I'll take the transmuted spell.
However, I think it doesn't do anything with radiant, necrotic, or psychic damage. It has to be like elemental, like acid, poison, lightning, thunder, fire, cold, I think are the only ones, and you can only switch it to one of those.
You're taking the quicken one as well, right?
Sure. Do you want it? I don't care.
No, I just thought that since Lark mentioned something, quicken something.
Sure, I'll take the quicken spell.
Well, it's only spells for an action, so it's not like you can quicken a Temple of the Gods.
Yeah.
It would have to be like a Guiding Bolt.
Yeah.
And it would mean because it takes a bonus action, you wouldn't be able to like drop a spiritual weapon.
Yeah.
Because I know that's something you do a lot. And you'd still have to use your action to cast a cantrip. But if you really wanted to drop something real quick, you could quicken a spell and then throw out a cantrip.
Would Arthur want any of these? Arthur, say something.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know which ones Arthur would want. Because he doesn't really do a lot of spells. He just shoots things, and this doesn't apply.
His spells are bonus actions already, so...
Yeah, he wouldn't want that. Like the transmuted spell wouldn't apply to like his fire damage. Because it's not a spell. It has to be an actual spell.
Okay. What does heightened do?
Heightened lets you give them disadvantage on their saving throws against the spell that you heighten.
Yeah.
And seeking just lets them hit him?
You re-roll an attack roll after you roll it.
Yeah. So if you have advantage, you can roll 3 times.
Yeah. Like if you know you're probably gonna miss, you can use Seeking Spell to re-roll the attack.
Well, I think it's specifically if you miss, and only if you miss, then you can add Seeking Spell to it. So if you roll it, you miss, you then Seeking Spell it to like curve it in midair, like, oh, I shot too far, I'm going to curve my firebolt back. And you can do that with Seeking Spell. But if you roll it and you miss, you still miss.
Okay.
But if you have advantage, you can roll 3 times and pick the highest.
What?
You want any of these? I'm not really particular.
I
I'm
think he already
cool with
took
the three
settled
I
and
have.
quickened.
I
You
have
have
settled,
settled,
quickened, and
quickened.
transmuted.
Oh yeah, you took transmuted, I guess.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
was
like I said,
really
since you have a lot of radiant and necrotic damage, it doesn't work on that. I will say that.
You can't transmute from a radiant spell?
No, it has to be acid, cold, thunder, lightning, fire, or poison, one of those. And you have to transmute it to one of the other ones. But if you took like flame strike that does fire damage, you can make a cold flame strike that does cold damage and radiant damage, or a poison flame strike that does radiant damage and poison damage.
Okay, well, I guess Rerek can have transmuted spell.
Yeah, transmuted's probably better. I'll grab the heightened just to save myself from spending the sorcery points unless anybody else wants. I mean, heightened's nice if you're trying to definitely nail somebody with a saving throw spell. And for me, if I take these, it just saves me on sorcery points in the middle of the fight, but I can do most of them anyway, so
oh,
if nobody else wants them, I'll take the rest.
cool. You can have 'em.
So I guess I get what, heightened and seeking?
Seeking.
Yay.
Who took distant? Was that Rerek?
Me.
Okay. All right. I guess Arthur isn't getting any because his spells don't really benefit from any of them. Interestingly.
Well, yeah, all of his spells just buff his damage or let him run away. And they're all already bonus actions, so it's not like he needs to quicken them for the most part.
There's no damage to boot. Yeah, and he can't use force damage on the transmuted spell anyway. Oh yeah. So it's not really advantageous for him to have any of them.
Yeah, no. Transmuted spell's good for people who like do the classical Pokemon types of damage, so you can move them around.
Yep. That's the main one.
Rerek is technically a Pokemon.
So with transmuted spell, if you have Chaos Bolt, you can pick any option pretty much on any other spell you cast, because Chaos
true.
Bolt has all damage types, other than Force, Necrotic, and Radiant. It does all the basic damage types.
I think it actually does
Basic.
psychic. Yeah, I think it
But
does
does
psychic.
chaos.
It does all the basic and psychic, I think.
Yeah. Chaos
It-
Bolt. It's a fun one.
All right, what else do we have to divvy
You got
up?
a new shield because you're the only one of us, I think.
Yeah, I'm the only one who can use shields.
Okay.
That shield is
Let
shield is
me.
dope.
I
It's
can
a dope
actually
ass
send
shield.
you the stat block for a death's head so that you know what you're summoning out of this thing. And remember, it is petrifying only, because of course it's a Gorgon head. Divvying up fun stuff. I'm just going to send it to you on. Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna.
So
Can I guess the name of this shield?
it's called a Gorgon shield.
Oh,
You got that from the
Wow.
identify. So yeah, remember that is going when you summon it, it's a construct, and it can only do petrifying. You can't summon the gnashing or the aberrant. It's only the petrifying.
Cool. And it's just a regular shield that gives me +2 AC, but it can
Yes.
summon the thingy.
And it gives you advantage on saving throws against being petrified while you're using it.
Cool.
So if you do actually meet a Gorgon or a Medusa, I guess as you want to call it, and you like accidentally look into its eyes, you have advantage on the saving throw. Or if you look at a basilisk, or if you get bit by a cockatrice, or something like that, you have advantage on the saving throw, provided you have that on you and you're attuned to it.
Nice.
Yep.
The summoning is an action to do, right?
Yes, it is an action to summon the head. And if the head drops to 0 hit points, because I know that head does not have a lot of hit points, if it drops to 0 hit points, it reforms on the shield the next morning. Yep. So I guess while you're still standing here, if you want to divide up the rest of the items that you've all gotten, because you still have the Amber Umber Hulk. If you're going to identify it, I will say that once you use it, the Umber Hulk stays around for 6 hours. It obeys your every command, however, you are not immune to its gaze. If it drops to 0 hit points, there's a 50% chance it will explode. And when it explodes, every creature within a 60-foot radius of it has to make a DC 15 charisma saving throw or come under the effect of the confusion spell for the full duration of the confusion spell.
Who wants that?
The confusion, you remember when you fought the Umber Hulk and Arthur was like shooting you all and like standing still and staring off into space and like running directly into a wall? That's what confusion does. It does that to people and makes them act weird. And so basically, if this thing dies, there's a 50% chance that everybody in the area will be confused when it explodes, and then the item is gone. So it's technically an unstable Amber Umber Hulk. So that's the only other thing. And of course, the dancing sword, if you want to make that note, it will continuously sing opera. When you activate it to fight, it will sing opera very loudly. So there's no way to stealth with it. If you have it active, of course, if you just have it at your side or whatever, it's just a regular sword.
And we just put it away in the bag.
Yeah, you can just dump it in the bag. It's not like any of you really want to use it, maybe. I don't know. And then, of course, the
why
beholder.
not? It's just a bonus action to make it hit things.
Yeah, it's a bonus action to have it fly out and start. Like, you could even.
It flies out. I thought
It's
you
honestly
had to
probably
use
a pretty good thing for Rerek to have, because Rerek doesn't really have any bonus actions.
Yeah.
Yes, actually. It does return to your hand after it attacks 4 times, and you have to use your bonus action to throw it out again, but you can do it an unlimited amount of times. You just need to be able to catch it and then throw it back out again as a bonus action. So yeah, it does require attunement, though. So I don't know if you are attuned to all, if you have all 3 attunement slots full.
2.
All right, then you can take the dancing sword. That's actually a really good item to have for your. Yep. And then who's taking the Beholder Eye Stalk staff? It's a
really
+1 quarter
staff.
Right, so it's a +1 quarter staff. It deals an additional 1d8 psychic damage when you hit people with it. And you can spend a charge. It has 3 charges. You can spend a charge, and you can use either and you can choose which of the Beholder Eye beams to use, but then it uses a charge. Once you use all 3, there's a chance that it'll destroy itself, of course, as every magical item that has charges does. But yeah, that's what the Beholder Eye Stalk staff does.
I'm sorry, is this technically a dancing rapier?
Dancing sword, dancing rapier, whatever. Just use the damage that it says on the dancing sword.
There's great sword, long sword, scimitar, short sword.
Just use short sword. Use short sword.
Okay.
I think I will do. I don't know. Let me see here. Does the Umber Hulk take attunement as well?
No, none of the
Because there's also the Ebony Fly.
There's also the Ebony Fly, but it looks like when I checked, none of the figurines of Wondrous Power require attunement. It's just whoever knows the command word and is holding them can conjure them. Yeah. And then they obey the conjurer. So if you have the Umber Hulk, you can summon the Umber Hulk, and it obeys you and you alone, but no one is immune to its gaze.
Yeah.
And then once you use it, it has to remain dormant for a month.
I mean, if no one else wants it, I'll take it, and that'll be an interesting thing in the back pocket. I don't really need the staff because I've got my Bloodwell vial is very good.
Very true.
But the eye beams could be helpful.
The staff. What does your staff do now, Rerek? Because this one sounds like it's probably better.
Yeah, it sounds better because mine is just it just has the opportunity to like blind flying things.
Oh, you have the Skyblinder staff from when Samantha
Yeah.
dropped it the first time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah. I'll have to unattune from this and unequip it.
that's fine.
Or I
Actually,
guess the question
it
is
might
like, is that staff going to be a better focus for you than that book you have? Because you either have like a book or an orb, right? Doesn't he have like a
I don't remember. I think I
You
got a book.
definitely don't want to give up your spell book because your spell book is like a bunch of magical items all crammed together. I
Yeah.
sent you the pictures of what they all do. So you get like bonuses to your attack roll and your saving throw from it. I think you get a +2. Um, and you get a bunch of spells and you can swap them out for your wizard spells if you like do 1 minute and like study it for 1 minute
Yeah,
and then you
that's
get
what I've been doing with that thing for a while. Been swapping spells and shit like
yeah,
that.
and then I think you can also spend a charge to like add or subtract a d4 from someone's roll as a reaction as like a mini portent.
Oh, that I haven't done.
Yeah, I know you haven't done it.
I don't even know I can
um
do that.
Yep. If it has 3 charges, and one of the charges, if you spend a charge, you can either spend a minute swapping a spell out, um, or add or subtract a d4 from a creature's roll as a reaction.
Okay.
And that's what your book does. So you
Um.
definitely don't want to get rid of your book, but the Skyblinder staff you can definitely just pitch.
Okay. And then I can go ahead and take the beholder staff.
Yes. It's not actually in D&D Beyond. But because I homebrewed that one. Yeah, so if you need to know what it does again, I can tell you.
1 second.
You're probably mainly going to only be using it for the eye beams because you don't really attack with your staff. But it does have a bonus.
Beholder staff.
Yep.
What's the bonus? Sorry.
So you get a
Bonus
+1.
action?
It's a plus. No. When you attack with it, just like bop someone with it, it's a +1 quarterstaff. So you get a +1 to attack and damage rolls. And it deals an additional 1d8 psychic damage on top of the d6 or d8, depending on if you two-hand it, that you get from whacking someone with the staff. And then, of course, 3 charges, you get to shoot a beholder eye beam. I will say you can roll randomly or pick it. Doesn't really matter which. If you're just like, I want to use a beam, I don't care what one beam ago, you can just roll for it like a beholder technically does. Or you can actually sit there and choose from the options.
Okay.
But you only get 3.
That doesn't replenish after like a day or something.
It does. You
Okay.
get like 1d4 -1 or a d3 comes back at dawn. So you might only have 2 for the day if you spend 1, and then if you spend 2 and only get 1 back, then you might only have 2 the next day.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So that you've all divvied up your magical items, Goran Galax just simply, well, it has been a pleasure doing business with you. Hopefully we will be open soon and have plenty of interesting magical items for you to peruse and possibly buy. But other than that, I should probably let you get on with your day. I'm sure you have plenty of things to be doing.
Well, all right. Good luck with your reopening.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. We might even have to do this sale tomorrow. Who knows? But thank you for stopping by, and thank you for thinking of the Copper Cauldron, of course.
Wait, should I have just traded the staff?
We're good.
It doesn't really matter.
All right. Where to now, boys?
Didn't you want to go to the academy, or university, or whatever?
Sure.
You
Can
mortals.
ask
don't
some
fool.
smart people there. Maybe Rerek, you said you wanted to commune or
Yes.
something.
Communicate with my uncle. Ask him some questions.
All right. So you all head over to the Staff of Midnight. You go back into the tower. They let you onto the campus, of course. They know that you've worked with many of the professors before. And that, of course, Percy's cousin comes here and is a student, as well as Belladonna has been taking classes on controlling her sorcery here for a little while. They let you onto the campus, and you once again enter the base of the tower. The strange sort of larger on the inside space as you climb the staircase. And you make it to the library, which of course is run by Mikhail Lustrum, the beaver, previously a transmutation professor who turned himself into a beaver permanently, as seems is a common occurrence amongst the transmutation professors. He greets you. Oh, hello. How are you all today? Are you all looking for a book?
Maybe, maybe just like a really smart person we could talk to. Like, do you know about the whole apocalypse thing we've been trying to stop?
Wait, what? What do you mean there's an apocalypse happening? Does no one tell anything to... Well, I am the librarian. Of course no one says anything to me. All right. What are we looking for? What books in particular are we looking for?
I believe we need information on the fourth chain of Tharizdun, please.
If that's just like in a book here somewhere.
I don't think that is in a book. One moment, and he kind of turns and speaks to the air, just kind of whispers to the air, and you hear the air whisper back, and you remember that the library is basically staffed entirely by imps that have been summoned and bound by Mikhail Lustrum.
Wasn't
And
there
they
a devil?
That's in Percy's
That's
family
in my
library.
house.
Huh?
Yes, that's the Arcanoloth that's trapped in the library and is threatened to kill the entire Kritzwald family if it escapes. However, it's trapped. But yeah, he kind of whispers to the air, and you hear some sort of fluttering of wings. Well, my helpers are going to search the library for any reference. However, that's going to take a bit. So is there anything else that I can help you with, or do you just want like a study room or
A study
something?
room would be nice. I need to cast the ritual spell.
All right. That is perfectly fine. If you come over here, and he walks over to one of the study rooms, and it's one of those strange sort of secret bookcases that opens up, and there's a study room with more bookcases inside of it. And he kind of ushers you in. Well, of course, take as long as you like. There's plenty of these lying around the library, so don't feel too rushed. I'll make sure to send the imps inside if they find something. And he
Thank you.
shuts the door.
Thank you, gracias. Okay. It's not me thing. To speak with me. Mi tío.
Aha. So what spell are you casting?
Hold on. So commune, I need to be talking to like some divine entity.
Yes, you can't commune with
So
like a
my
living
uncle is
person.
not a thing.
No. This is not like
Do a sending spell.
you could do a sending spell.
Could do a
Yeah,
sending
commune is
spell.
not video chat. It is contacting the
Asking
other
God
realm.
what to do.
Basically.
Yeah, and contact other plane is other plane.
Well, that
Oh,
one
God.
requires a saving throw, or else you go insane.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that is a real possibility.
Let me think. Oh, I'm gonna contact my the dragon Jomungandr.
You can contact the dragon Jomungandr if you want with contact other plane.
Oh, not commune.
I guess you could use commune.
He is godly, almost, right?
Yeah.
Is he dead?
Yes, he is dead. He has been dead for quite some time.
Okay, a divine proxy and ask up to 3 questions that can be answered with a yes or no. Ah, why?
Because divination is weird like that. I believe contact other plane allows you 5 questions. I'm checking right now. I'm
How
like,
are we
I'm-
gonna spin these questions to learn where the chain is with only yes or no answers?
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah, I was just reading commune and it says 3 yes or no questions, right?
Same with contact other plane. It's yes,
Contact
no,
other
maybe,
plane
never,
is only
irrelevant,
3.
or unclear. They're also yes or no. I feel like we'll have better chance with whatever book we're gonna find here than
Failure.
trying
I'm
to
a-
get.
On a
I'ma
success, you can ask the
DM your
entity up to
uncle real
5
quick.
questions.
Yeah, I don't have this spell you have.
I'm just gonna text your uncle real quick. I'm gonna be like, "Hi Jabari, it's Percy. There's a 4th chain of Tharizdun. Can you help us find out where it is?" P.S.
All
Rerek
right.
says hi. Like,
So nice. Very nice. Thank you.
There's a moment before you do get a response. Oh, what a coincidence. I was actually going to come to visit in a little bit. Give me about a day and I'll be there.
Oh, holy cow.
he says he's coming here in a day, so that's something, I guess.
Whoa, that sounds convenient. Huh.
I feel
Thank
like at
you.
this point, Lark's just like, oh, great. So we're waiting for a day. We're waiting for answers. We're waiting for the library. He's just got a book at this point and he's ripping pages out of it.
Hey,
No. What are you doing with the books?
And
my
every time
cousin's
he,
tuition pays that.
but every time he rips a page out of it, he uses a cantrip to like, what can I mean? I have every fucking cantrip.
Yes, you
He's
do.
just using like prestidigitation to magically origami fold each page into a different flower shape before throwing it to the side.
And then I'm gonna pick up your origamis and use the mending cantrip and put the book back together.
And I also love books, so I'm doing the same thing. Ah!
Okay, we're
And
done with that. We're not doing that.
It's
Like,
it's a better use of the it's a better use than what was in there.
a tactical guide to combat cooking could potentially help somebody in the future.
I don't think
It's a very interesting. You currently have the book open, and it is literally like how to enchant a frying pan to shoot fire. And it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Did we
Well,
get
there might be
Jasmine
some
like fully
Combat
healed up?
chef in this school in a few years who will really want that book.
Ugh. So Lark throws the book to the side and then grabs the next one, lifts it up, and it's just
As you
erotic
reach for the
troll
book,
friend fiction.
as you reach for the book and you touch it, it zaps you and your hand just leaps away from it.
Oh. Fine, fine, fine. I'll figure out another way to have fun here.
At this point, you do hear a whisper in your ear, Percy. I'm sorry we couldn't find a book with the chains of Tharizdun in it. Especially not a reference to 4. Sorry.
It's okay. The imp said no, there's no books, so I think we're SOL on this one.
So what next, boys? We have to wait a day for your uncle. My sibling's off and about, so who
So
knows?
is my sibling, so I think we might be playing the waiting game right now. Unless maybe that Arcana Loth at the library in my house would know anything, but that's sort of doubtful.
I mean, we don't really have any other leads right now. You could give it a shot. Do we want to go back to the old house?
I mean, not really, but... is there anything else? No, Malice is dead, so can't ask if Malice knows anything. They were never very helpful anyways.
No, they just tried to get in our heads.
What other entities haven't we contacted yet?
Oh, Stolas! Do we have a way to contact Stolas? Stolas might know.
I don't think sending goes across planes, but...
It does, but there's a 5% chance that it will get lost.
I could...
So you can.
I could try ascending to Stolas.
Because isn't that what Stolas, like, does, right?
Herbs and stars.
Oh, fuck. Never mind.
Well, yeah.
I thought he was more
He's
useful.
nice, but I don't know if Herbs and Stars man will really know what's going on here.
Herbs and stars, haggard owl with absurdly long legs, which is what he was.
I mean, I guess I suppose we just wait. We've tapped into everyone we can think of. Is there anyone else we're forgetting?
Oh, yes, I know. I talked to Saint Hypatia again. It's weird between us, but bottom line is she doesn't know either.
Oh, wonderful. Lark's just gonna look at everybody and be like, "Is Percy okay?"
Percy definitely is giving the vibes of like, I'm just not dealing with it right now.
That's going on the back burner.
A problem for later, Percy.
A future Percy problem.
So it's just had a little chat after she tried killing you.
Mm-hmm. She wanted to see if I was okay. I'm not doing great, but now is not the time for a little pity party. So we're just gonna press forward, I think.
And he's being ever so confident, in charge. Oh, Percy, be still, my tiny, cold, blackened heart.
I don't know if those are the words I'd use. I'd probably say something like, I don't know, I feel like I've lost almost everything at this point, so fuck it. Let's go. Who cares?
I mean, well, no. Well, we could go ask we could go ask, oh god, what's her name? The one who runs the spa.
Ludla. She doesn't run the spa. She runs
just lives there.
The psychotherapy.
Are you suggesting we go
bar.
Trip balls and try to see if we psychedelically figure out where the fourth chain is?
Oh, we don't have any other. I mean, we're in academia right now, and
academia has failed us, so let's try drugs.
Academia has failed us, so let's try drugs. That is something to put on a shirt.
Not only did school failed, and so did church. So then
school and church failed. It is time for drugs.
Oh my god.
School and church has failed. It is time for drugs.
Well, okay, so that library that we went to with the devil guy, is that in your...
house? The big scary house.
Yeah, we were gonna go there, huh? We should probably... Do you want to go there?
What are the odds? I feel like the odds of him knowing and the odds of a drug-induced trip telling us where it is are probably about the same.
Yeah, it'll take longer to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean...
Oh, wait, I have teleport.
Oh.
Well, there's a teleportation circle in the house.
Yes, it's in the lab.
We could probably just teleport there from the school.
Yeah, and then we can just be how we get around. Rerek can take us there, and I can take us back to the city.
Yes.
And we all have good uses for our magic. Like
For our high level spell slots.
you,
1/7 level.
What could
Short
be
haul
accomplished by
flights.
walking.
it's faster than a cart. And
Literally short haul flight.
I used a little
Okay.
bit of magic to help everyone today, so I feel it's only fair everyone else does.
Yeah, why
Okay,
not?
well,
Do you want to wizard
can
us over
leave.
there, Rerek?
Where should I leave a circle? A magic
Do you
circle
have
to
to-
return to?
Teleport
return
can
to?
go to a teleportation circle, which you would know because you saw it in the lab.
Yeah.
So you would be at the top floor of the lab.
Okay. How about getting
Um,
back?
I can take us back. But also there's a
Directly to the-
teleportation circle
Oh wait.
at
Okay.
the school. So
Okay. Y'all.
Do you
y'all
have
wanna
teleportation
do-
circle specifically or just teleport? Because both would work.
Teleport.
Okay, teleport can go to teleportation circles. Teleport, as I'm sure you're reading in the spell, means that
It's
if
very
you
long.
Yeah, well, long story short, if you aren't going to a teleportation circle, there is a slight chance that something can go wrong. However, if you are going to a teleportation circle, it just works.
Oh, yeah, it's on target 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Cool, let's do
Yes.
that. 7th level slot.
All right.
The lab.
So with a whoosh, you all find yourselves in the top floor of the lab. Still dusty, desiccated, dark, hauntingly empty. As you stand once again in the dirty lab.
Okay.
isn't this where those weird brain rats were?
Oh, I wonder how they're doing. I gave them a seed. Are they still here?
Ooh, yeah. Rats, are you alive? I'm just gonna start walking down towards the door, towards the library.
Now that I have my own domain, I really should. If anyone got them, I really should see if we can get those brain rats to my little forest. They'd be quite darling there.
Oh, with your werewolves. Rats and werewolves.
So eventually, when you get down to the bottom floor, as you're calling out for the rats, they do come flooding out and swirl around, their strange brains lighting up as they, I see you have returned.
Oh yeah, yeah. How have things been going for you?
We have been doing all right.
Good to hear. A lot of weird stuff's been happening. Like, did you see like the Modrons, the robot people, or like there was like a mass grave of frogs? There's been a lot going on here. I mean, there's a mammoth. There's a lot of mammoth. Are the mammoths still here?
Nope, they left. They and the people all left. You have no idea where they went.
Well,
Last time you heard, they were heading in the direction of Caliburn.
God bless them. um,
We asked this thing a question about the 4th chain.
oh yeah. Do you know where the 4th chain of Tharizdun is?
No,
Bunch of
That's-
we have not
experimenting
heard of
on
such a
that.
thing.
Fantastic.
All right, Lark, you want them? You can take over.
Oh, darlings, how sold are you on this as your home?
We are sure we can do better.
Oh, I'm
Food
sure
is
you can do better
scarce.
as well. What if I told you that I've just come into possession of a premium piece of real estate in another plane of existence?
Is there?
Of course there's food. How do you feel about undead meat?
It is flesh to eat.
Wonderful. So yeah, Lark's just. Can I? Do you need me to roll a persuasion check or anything?
At the moment, it sounds like no.
Oh,
It
perfect.
sounds like you are very convincing to these
Oh,
rats.
yes. So I know, darlings. My siblings and I have very recently come into possession of our own domain of the Feywild, and I'd be more than happy to offer you an invitation to come and become some of our, oh, Percy, what's the term? Subjects, servants,
I
serfs,
don't know. I
all
don't know
of the
how
above.
things work for you people.
If you want to, you'll have undead flesh for days, maybe non-undead flesh, maybe some fruits. The biome is still settling since we've taken control, but I can guarantee at least undead flesh.
Yes. This is pleasing
Wonderful.
to us.
Wonderful one. Now, Lark's just like, how do I get them to the Feywild? Other than, I guess, oh, but the mean locks would tear them apart, and oh, hmm.
They're like tiny. Can't you do little quicklings or something? Just grab them and take them across.
Yeah, Lark's like that could. Oh, I could. Perfect. Because there's the mass grave.
Yes, the mass grave of frog people. Uh-oh.
Looks like someone's come to say hi.
Sorry about that. That was my brother. So yeah, I mean, we could. The mass grave Lark threw a ton of seeds on months ago, or not months. Well, in game months or out of game months ago. We might be able to use that as a portal if there's enough growth. Do you think that would work? Would that work?
I mean, you don't know. You could try.
We could try, or I'll contact home and make sure that we get you there. Let's go to the library, and all you darlings come with us. Well, maybe not into the library. I don't know how the devil would react, but we'll figure out a way to get you to where we're at. All right?
This pleases us.
Though if you do stay, you'll need to earn your keep a little. Between obviously, food will be aplenty. I'll need your eyes and ears.
We have many.
Perfect. Perfect, darlings. Kiss, kiss. We're going to go talk to a devil. I'll be right back, though, okay?
And they kind of scurry off into the shadows.
Now, why don't you let me do that with a bunch of mortals, Percy? What's different with the rats?
They're weird cursed rats with their brains bulging out of their heads, so they're ugly and I don't like them.
That's all of mortal kind, though.
That's mean.
Okay. I'm just going to move past that and walk to the library to talk to this devil that wants to kill me.
Every time, like, one of us is not playing and then someone else is playing, like I'm imagining like a dead body, not a dead body, but kind of like a zombie just following us. Like,
We're just weekend at Bernie's-ing them.
so Arthur is technically just brainless and just like
He's still hungover from yesterday. He drank a lot of alcohol. So
and
he's
I
just
imagine when I was gone, I was the same way.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
studying his new book. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you all head down to the familiar staircase by the lunarium and the solarium, which is still brightly lit from the last time you visited. And you all end up at the top floor of the library and begin making your way down to the ground floor. The library seems entirely empty.
I guess I'll just. Wait, wasn't that like a book I had to touch or something? Or did he just appear last time we were here?
I think he just appeared, but
Okay, I'll be like, hello, devil friend, are you here? Like,
Oh no, you don't remember the name.
I don't remember
What's
his name.
Zarloth.
Me neither.
I know it's been a
Zarloth.
while and you met him like twice.
Yeah.
Zarla.
Zarloth, old buddy, old pal.
Larlock, we're home.
Bestie.
Ugh, I was
Y'all,
hoping you would have
Play
stayed
Queen.
away. Before
Oh.
he kind of appears, this sort of jackal-headed, berobed wizard figure. I was hoping you would have stayed away.
Well,
One can only
sorry.
hope.
Sorry to disappoint. We were hoping you could tell us if you knew anything, or if the books here knew anything about the fourth chain of Tharizdun.
I will check.
Hello.
And he zips away, and you hear the books literally banging about and rifling as he zips from aisle to aisle. Zips back. I have found nothing.
Well, that
This
tracks.
library has its limits.
Oh.
Well,
There was, of course, the 3 chains. I was unaware there was a 4th.
Well, so would we. It's a real gut punch, that one. So, how have you been?
Still wanting to murder you.
I figured. We're really gonna have to work on that attitude. So maybe later though, because you make me very uncomfortable. So I'm going to leave, and we're going to maybe get a horde of rats to crawl into a pile of dead bodies.
Wait,
Well,
is
then
there a
maybe you
way for him
should-
to find out? Hello?
I mean, you can certainly ask.
Sorry, the sound's going away for a little bit.
Uh-oh.
He wouldn't lie to Percy, would he? Can he?
You don't know.
Can't. Are there things that he can't do? Because he's like
While he is
there?
trapped in the library, he cannot leave the library. He also cannot hurt a member of the Kritzwald family, nor can he hurt anyone who the Kritzwald says that he cannot hurt. So he can't hurt you because the first time that you all met him, Percy did tell him not to hurt the 3 of you. So he can't hurt you. But you don't know whether or not that he can lie.
Can I insight check him telling us that he couldn't find anything?
Yes, you certainly may.
Ooh.
That also
I would like to do that as well.
All right.
got a 21.
I got a 24.
I will have the worst roll, let me tell you.
I got a 24 because I rolled a 19 and I'm proficient in it. I have no wisdom at all.
Hey, I rolled an 18.
All right. You all get the sense that he isn't lying.
Oh.
He's trapped in the library. He only knows what the books tell him. And the books don't have any information on this.
Okay.
Always fun chatting, Zarloth. I'll be back. Maybe. I don't know.
If only you wouldn't. Eddie zips off into somewhere else in the library.
Okay.
So you want to go shove your rats into that pile of corpses?
I mean, we might as well
Cool.
try.
Do y'all remember that talking plant?
It's dead.
Which one?
The big one.
That one's dead.
Again, which one?
Oh, shit.
There's been a few.
Oh shit. What was that one? It was early. We
I
met
think
it like
Malice is
middle.
probably the one you're talking about. Malice is dead.
Oh. Feel
Yep,
like
Malice is dead.
feel like that plant has answers. I don't know.
Well, not anymore. They don't. And neither did any of the massacred dead plant pygmy people who you burnt alive in my garden. So,
Wait, okay, yeah.
to the mass grave.
To the mass grave.
All right, so yeah, I will say you managed to gather the rats, and you all take a good maybe hour or two to walk down to the lake. I will say, as you walk through the garden, you notice the garden has begun to gray and overgrow.
Well,
The protection of malice being gone and the gardeners being dead, as well as the damage from the modrons.
Oh,
It seems that the garden is beginning to look a little bit more like the surrounding area around it. The green is beginning to fade. Things are beginning to become disorderly. You are, however, seeing more mushrooms popping up in various places.
Hmm.
And as you pass through the garden and over to the lake house, you definitely see a good sizable patch of maybe 30 or 40 bitter blooms that have all grown. They're still rather small and some of them haven't quite flowered yet, but there is a sizable meadow of sorts on the shores of this lake.
Hmm. I'm just gonna be like, Yodelay-hee-hoo. Granther. Granther. I'm gonna start talking into flowers and being like, hello, 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 hello.
Interestingly, you hear a voice that is neither the Queen of Air and Darkness nor Granther. Wait, Lark? What's... Wait, since when can you talk through flowers? It's Prank.
I always just assumed it was something that the Queen of Granther did. When can you talk through flowers, Prank?
Um, I never. I'm just talking to one right now, just sitting on the ground, talking to a flower that apparently you're talking through too.
Yes, I've got some new I don't recruits, citizens,
Oh, that's fun. You heard about the
peons.
werewolves, right?
I heard about the werewolves. I have a bunch of rats with exposed brains.
Ew.
They're, they're very smart.
Oh,
And they're
I
very
hope so.
crafty and clever. You couldn't
Um,
be a deer and open up a portal real quick.
maybe I don't know how this works.
Well, you're in our seat of power, so you or maybe you'll need Panic's help or Rumor's help. Oh, has Rumor come back? Probably not yet.
Yes, they did. They told me that you were okay with the werewolves, so that was 2-1, so they get to stay. I am still thinking through names for the realm. I am personally leaning towards Wailing Woods because Panic has been screaming quite a lot. Mostly out of joy, thankfully, rather than sadness, which is nice. Um, and of course, we're still in the talks with Theodora. We are trying to see if we can get both the river and the lake, should she get her realm back together, be able to keep both the river and the lake, not just one or the other, as well as possibly the permanent part-time service of one of her platoons of the military to constantly patrol our border, even after her realm gets put back together, but we're still working on that. Maybe I mean I can do some things with the realm, so maybe I can open a portal. Maybe.
I'll try from
Um,
my end, you try from your end.
all right, let's do this. Give me a just straight charisma check.
Okay, Lark's doing like the. Have you ever seen Fern Gully where she tries out her magic on the seed for the first,
Oh, yep.
like looks away a little? Charisma. Charisma is a 22.
All right. She didn't roll very high. But you see, as you're trying your hand at this, the flower is blooming, growing, similar to what happened when Granther pulled those cultists of the worm Caius into his realm. It begins to grow, and you hear Frank on the other end kind of, it's not kind of almost maybe? And the flower is shaking as if it's about to burst before finally the middle opens. A beam of moonlight pours out. Got it. Send him through. I'm not sure how long I can hold it.
All right, all rats. With flower. Come on, come on.
The rats do not hesitate. They pour through the portal, and you can hear from the other end, ew, 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 ew. Is that the, oh no, there's another one. And okay. And the flower goes back to normal as the last rat jumps through it. All right. I think that's all of them.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Prank. Thank you. Now help them acclimate. I promised them the flesh of the undead, so maybe don't let panic kill them. Like, try to get them to be her pets or something.
Oh well, we'll try. Anyway, gotta go. And then the flower
Bye.
turns to
And
ash.
Lark will just be like, even if they do die, at least Panic will have some more food. Oh well.
And that, whoops, is where we are going to end this week's episode of Scion of the Dark House. Join us next week as the group continues to try and figure out what to do and where to find the final chain.